So in unit number 2, disaster management approaches to disaster risk reduction, let us today discuss about early warning system. This plays a major role in identifying any disaster in prior advance, and which is being used for a slight reduction in disaster effect. We cannot make it zero, but we can at least preventive methods can be done, so that you can slightly come out of your effect caused due to disaster. Okay, now let us start with the first one. What is meant by early warning system? An early warning system can be defined as a set of capability needs needed to generate and disseminate timely and meaningful warning information of the possible extreme events or the disaster. For an example, you can identify whether flood is going to occur, earthquake, tsunamis, drought and fire. Okay, the drought and fire, that is not is going to occur on a single day, so that is entirely different when compared to flood, earthquake and all. Okay, the purpose of this information is to enable the individuals, so you have to enable individuals, communities and organization threat to prepare and appropriately and in sufficient time to reduce the possibility of harm, loss or risk, whatever condition may be. So characteristics of early warning system. So if you say an early warning system, what should be its characteristics? So effective early warning system requires strong technical foundation, that is, you should have all high-end technical instruments which is going to identify, and a good knowledge of risk. So you should know both how you are going to identify and how is that going to disturb. So both you should have some knowledge, then, but must be strongly people centered with a clear message. See, if I am going to identify, that has to be reached to all. That is the more important thing. Identifying is not the matter. So the second point says that it should be centered, which means it should be informed to all. Okay, so that is the second. Third one, public awareness and education are critical. See, I may identify using a technical or high-end instruments. I will even send this information to all, but only thing is public should be aware. They should listen this and they should do the work properly. So that is what third one is. Public awareness and education are critical. See, even if I am giving some warning like sound or anything or any messages on TV, but if they are not monitoring, then it is again waste. So see, please listen. Identifying is very important with respect to strong technical foundation and good knowledge. Then once information is being identified, that has to be transmitted to all, which means has to reach all. And even if I try to reach, the person has to understand the critical situation, then he has to respond. The effective early warning system must be embedded in an understandable manner and relevant to the communities which they serve. So this is about the characteristics of effective early warning or early warning system. Now there are three phases in early warning system. First phase is continuously monitoring. That is the first thing they have put on measurement. So you have to continuously monitor day and night whether anything is going to occur. Then based on the information you have to forecast. See, some disaster will take 2-3 days, some takes seconds and some takes hours. After you try to measure, the disaster will occur. After your measurement, it may take seconds or hour or even days. So forecasting you have to do. You have to tell, I have identified which may affect your place like this, or there is no any problem, or now disaster has occurred. So if the condition is no, again we will go for measurement itself. If it is yes, then you should give warning. So these are the three phases. You have to measure, then you have to forecast and warning. That is the three phase. This is the three phase of early warning system, but one more phase is there, which is you have to response. See, you get the warning, and if you are not doing anything, all the entire system is waste. See, just by a person saying that warning, warning, and if you are not responding to that particular warning, then the condition is nothing to say. Okay, same case now. Even now, what they say, only for the economic reason it has been opened, but all the people think that there is no more any rules so that we can start roaming. It is not that it is been given for roaming, it is just for economic conditions. So till warning, it is a three phase, the three phase of early warning system, and the last one is a major role. You have to properly response is the most required thing. So that is why on the second diagram you can see that in the first diagram only three phases has been done. So this three phases is there, but the thing what you have to do is the last one is you have to respond properly. So that is with respect to early warning system. And in India there are some agencies for broadcasting this, so they will identify and let you know. Okay, cyclone, if you take, Indian Meteorological Department is there, we all know, because they only tell about the holidays due to rain. So in some case it will be correctly predicted, or some case wrongly predicted, we all know. So till they announce holiday there will be heavy rain. Once holiday has been declared, there won't be any rain. So that part we all know. Indian Meteorological Department we know. Then tsunami is nothing but earthquake occurring under sea. This earthquake, it can be either reduction in volume of water or increase in level of water. So Indian National Center for Oceanic Information Service is there. So they try to monitor and let us know if there is any chance for tsunami. So tsunami and all, if it is starting at one particular place, it may even take some hours or some minutes. Okay, so before that we can do all evacuation and all, evacuation of the people from the region which is closer to sea. Okay, and the third one is floods. So Central Water Commission is there. So this Central Water Commission will tell about is there any possibility of floods and all. Again, earthquake and cyclone both have been taken care by Indian Meteorological Department. So they will try to tell whether there is a possible for earthquake. See, earthquake will occur at a particular place where there will be more severe. From there it will try to be transmitted. So far end, at least we will feel the jerk, but that same jerk can be at very high magnitude, so that even there can be damages for the far end also. So at a place where earthquake may occur and it may be traveling, and it may even cause more damage at a far end also. Okay, so that Indian Meteorological Department, they try to measure this. Let us start with the first one, earthquake. So earthquake early warning system use earthquake science and technology for monitoring the system to alert the device and the people when shaking waves generated by earthquakes are expected to arrive at the location. So what and all they will tell is, they will measure in terms of scales, and they will try to tell at what time this earthquake will arrive at a particular location. For this purpose, USA California has developed a mission called Shake Alert, which gives exact time of arrival of shake to the station. With the help of this technology, you can save so many lives. See, when you have in multi-story buildings, at least if they say 25 minutes or 30 minutes, there will be a shake, then I can at least come from the 30th floor or 20th floor and I can stand on the ground. So nothing will fall on me. Otherwise, see what happens, that entire building gets collapsed, so it will damage. So they have done in USA and they have named it as Shake Alert. Okay, so that will tell about origin and how much time it takes for it to reach you. With the help of this technology, you can save so many lives and also reduce damages to building to some extent. Okay, then this can be done by detecting first energy radiates from the earthquake, that we call it as P wave energy, which is rarely cause damage Using this P wave information, we first estimate the location and the magnitude of the earthquake, then anticipated ground shake across the region to be affected is estimated, and the warning is provided to the local population. So I will identify, then I will transmit the information and try to give it to the locals. The method can provide warning before the S wave arrives. S wave is very high wave, P wave is like starting, initiating, and S wave is the which is going to shake the entire place, bring the strong shaking that usually caused most of the damages. So the equipment we told, no, the equipment which was developed by US, we call it as shake alert, that will try to identify and give a tabular column like this. So it will send this type of to your mobile phones or system. What they have done is, through mobile phone it will give an alert, it will identify and it will transmit for the entire range. For example, see, this is P wave and this is S wave. What I have told, S wave will be more severe compared to P wave. So from S wave only I can identify the center. So this is the place. Okay. So number one is nothing but real time tracking of Siemens wave for quake, and number two is the real time tracking of fault, so where that it is going to occur. Then it will tell about your location tracked by GPS. So automatically what you can do is, from with the help of GPS, if this is occurring, so all nearby mobiles can be identified, mobile phone itself can be identified by the GPS present in it. So for example, you are standing here, so earthquake is here and you are here, so your mobile, so see what happens is, where your earthquake is occurring, nearby mobiles only they send message so that they can escape. So it has identified you are here, so your current location tracked by GPS. Once it has been tracked, then the next is seconds remaining before the wave reaches you. That is what it is showing here, 28 minutes. So it may take 28 minutes for to reach from this location to this location. Then it will tell about expected intensity of the quake, so that we get in terms of hectare, we call it as 4, 5, 6, 7, we give names. Okay. Then the maximum value it will tell, so that is estimated magnitude of quake. So from starting, it has started here, so it will travel, so there will be some reduction, and what your place, what will be the value it is showing. And then intensity scale, this bottom scale, this is similar to, you might have seen, no, the amount of what rainfall they will show with the different colors intimating. If they show red, then intensity is more, and if it is moving towards the lighter color, then we will say that intensity is less. Okay. So user receive a message like this in the form of screen of his computer or mobile. The message alerts the user to how many seconds before shaking waves arrives, their location and expected intensity of shaking. The warning message also display a map with the location of epicenter, the magnitude of quake, and this current position of P and S wave. So all this thing will be shown on your mobile as well as in your system. So in that area, if you are there, information is given so that you can come out of the building or you can be prepared. Okay. So here only the earthquake is occurring. So at this position you have S wave and P wave. So what happens is, they have placed in equal distance the sensors. So each and every sensor is placed at a particular sensor, and they say for every 12 miles, 6 to 12 miles, they have placed the sensor. So when this S wave will come only after P wave, first P wave will come, then only you will have S wave. So this P wave has been read. So once it has read, all the sensors can directly communicate to the base station with the satellite communication. From there, information is passed through your telecommunication or any method, so that it can be sent to all persons. See, even television media, it may take some time to reach, whereas when you get message to your mobile or computer, then it will be very fast, so that you can get rid of it. Okay. So that is what they say. In an earthquake, a repeating fault sends out different types of waves. The first moving P wave is first to arrive, but the damage caused by it slower than S wave. and alter arriving the surface. So sensor detects the P wave and immediately transmit the data to the earthquake alert center, where the location and size of the earthquake are determined and update as soon data becomes available. Then the message is being given to all people. So okay, this is how they are being done. So this is how the early warning of earthquake is done. Then comes flood. Okay, a typical flood warning system includes a number of terms, including automated sensors which are placed or beside the river and reservoir throughout the designated area. In previously, if you see in dams, there will be a scale marking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meters in terms of meters, and with the scale reading, they will identify what is the water coming in. I think you might have listened to news where they say this much amount of water enter the dam today. So by sudden increasing, I can identify that the flood has happened. Okay, that is not, you must not thinking in the positive way that water is coming to dam, okay, we can store it, we can do all the things. It is not so. So this is just to identify. Now what happened then is, now we have sensors, we don't want put a person, so ask him to stand near that, and then you try to do all such things. So nowadays what we do is, rather putting a person and all, you have a sensors, so that sensor will try to identify whether it may be daytime or night time or any time, the sensors will work rather than people. So people cannot sit and do that. So if there is a sudden rise in water level in dams and all, will be noted, and then it will send immediately the database. Okay, so data is then collected and sent immediately to the base station or personal computer. In this way, appropriate forecasts are sent to authorities or communities of those will get affected by the flood. Okay, so for the flood, the procedure is, first you will detect, then forecast. Detect is, see if the sudden increase in water level, then we will wait and see what is the level it is reaching, whether it is under the control level or it is under uncontrolled level, that you call it as forecasting. They will compare with the previous year data and all, and they will try to say whether it is okay or it is beyond the level. Then comes your threshold. So they will continuously forecast, and this forecast will go till the threshold value. Once threshold value is reached, then it is confirmed that it is something going to occur, it is not a normal case. So warning of flood will be intimated. Once this intimated, you should be in a preparedness in facing what should be done. Okay, so that is why it is written on the right hand side, preparedness. Then after preparedness, that is, you have to response, then you have to recovery, and then you have to put a review. Review is nothing but, we may tell this may occur, whether you have to tell that has occurred or not. So review, this review value will be taken again, and it will be written in warning system, as well as in threshold, as well as in forecast, as well as in reduction. So once time happening will be recorded. So this recorded information will help us. So this is with respect to flood. So then there are two types of flood. One more flood is melting of ice. Melting of ice in like mountains, and only in India we have that Himalayas, which is a very high mountain. So ice at very high altitude starts to melt. So sudden increase in water level will be there. This will not affect on high areas, rather water will flow, and this will finally go and touch the downstream peoples, and that will disturb them. So whenever this water level increase at the top area itself, you can identify and give an intimation, and you can spread the information so that the low lying area they can get prepared. So that is what is told. See here, the community based flood early warning system is used in Hindu Kush Himalaya region, which is one of the most dynamic and complex mountain system in the world. It is also extremely fragile. Fragile is nothing but breakable, so the ice can break, and sensitive to the effect of climate change. One of this effect of climate change is the formation of melt water lakes on the lower section of glacier in the Himalayan region. Because such lakes are inherently unstable and subjected to flood surges, and they are potential source for danger to the people or the property in the valley below them. So top end is more or less, you want to say, it is around 30 to 40 50 kilometers height, and bottom people is they are far from that high area, like 50 to 60 kilometers, but this water will come and damage the people and the property in low valley region. Okay, so what is the solution? You can have some wireless system manage floods or flash flood risk by providing early warning to the downstream communities and enhance cooperation between the upstream and downstream communities in sharing the flood information. So what should you have? You should have a transmitter and you should have a receiver. So transmitter is installed along with the river bank where they are going to measure the rise in water level, and the receiver is installed at houses near the river. So wherever there is small houses near, all the houses we will install the receiver, so intimation will be passed. A flood sensor attached to the transmitter detect the rising water level. That is what I told. So initially only it is done by human. They will have a scale fixed. Now and all it is fully sensor, it is been put. So sudden rise in water will be detected. When the water reaches a critical level, a signal in wireless is transmitted to the receiver. The flood warning is then communicated through mobile phone to all such agencies where valuable community are downstream, which is nothing but the persons who are going to get disaster damages. The critical flood level are set with the help of local communities. Then this is how, see, the diagram is little bit dull, but I will explain you. This is we called as upstream and this we call it as downstream, but here we have not shown any high or low, but it will be this will be at a very high position and this will be at low position. So here we have placed the sensor. See, you can see the sensor is placed on the water. So once this rise in water, then it will is transmitted to the receiver. Again you can see that there all the things should be operated in solar. In Himachal Pradesh and all, I cannot put a transmission line or any cables, underground cables, that is not possible. So everything will be solar powered. So once this is reached and it is been brought to the receiver, here I will have speaker like arrangement, like announcement, so that it will be get alerted. So at least they can get rid or slightly move away from the river bed. So they will not stand near the river bed or there any animals there which they are having, all that will be moved. Okay. So receiving station will have a modem. So from modem I should get the information and give it to speaker. So solar power and batteries are there. So this is charge controller. So from solar you will have a charge controller. That charge controller will control and it will try to charge your battery. Charge controller is nothing but it is like a boost converter. So you will have a boost converter. So output from the solar is given to a boost converter, so that it will boost and it will try to charge your battery. From the battery you are using modem. So information will be transmitted from the transmitter and this information is given to your alarm circuit. So once this alarm circuit starts alarming, then from the upstream to the downstream, all the people will get the information and they have to work. So this is how for flood is been done. See, just a photo is shown, only this much size will be there. So this is just an small solar panel. You will have all battery charging circuit and then cable. This cable will go and touch the water, that's all. So this is for a transmitter, whereas in receiver you will have a speaker unit. Only that is will be the difference between the two. So next we move on to the third one, which is network for monitoring station at sea floor detect the presence of earthquake. This is for tsunami. Okay, so tsunami, what we do is under the sea we try to place the instruments at very different locations, so that instruments will try to detect the earthquake. So once that is earthquake is detected, then the information will be transmitted. So that may result in tsunami. Tsunami has hit India once or twice, but this is more common in places like Japan, where every year they will try to get tsunamis because the earthquake is occurring under the sea. Okay, So for this a special instrument is there. I think you might have seen it, somebody might have seen it, like places like when you are in Kanyakumari districts, then you can see this. They call it as buoys. Buoys is nothing but object which float, which does not get submerged in water, that we call it as buoys. And tidal gauge. So coastal tidal gauge is nothing but measuring, so it is direct sensor method. The measure sea level near the coastal area, continuously monitor and confirm tsunami waves following an earthquake. If the tsunami occurred rather than earthquake, we depend solely on the data from the tidal gauge. So tidal gauge, you cannot identify earthquake, you can identify only tsunamis. Okay, then the second one, dart buoys, they report both about tsunamis as well as earthquake. Report to tsunami warning system. When tsunami occur, informations are proceeded to proceed. New and more refined estimate of tsunami occur result in accurate forecast of tsunami. So coastal tidal gauge is not so accurate because it has been done only with the increase in level of tide, whereas this second method you have placed inside the sea itself, so you can read. So I will show you what is dart buoy and all. It consists of two things: bottom pressure reader, so that is going to read, then surface. Okay, this bottom pressure recorder consisting of modem to transmit data to the surface buoy. Surface buoy transmit the data to the warning center via satellite communication. So the bottom pressure recorder, if you have a like quartz crystal, see, always you know that there are some crystals, that crystals, if you give an input like vibration, they generate like electric pulse. So that is what is an earthquake detector. Okay, they place a crystal which is able to measure a small vibrations also. So it is like a quartz crystal. So that crystal is kept inside the sea level just for a sensing element. The sensor continuously monitor the pressure, and if the pressure exceeds the threshold value, it automatically report to the warning center. And the surface of buoy, which is floating, which has a satellite communication, which try to transmit. So this how it will be there. I think when you gone for IV, if in IV, if you have gone for any boating and all, you might have seen this. It's a small like structure. So that structure you have, like, this is air filled, so it will not go in, it will always float. On the top you have satellite communication. So this is, in order to be in that same place, it has tied with an heavy anchor method, that is putting weight, so that this will not move from this location, it will just be in place. Okay, underneath you have this measuring piezoelectric material. So this piezoelectric materials like quartz, which is used to see the vibrations, and if the vibration is within the limit, nothing will there. If this vibration is more, automatically it sends an information, a wireless information. And there is no wire, because I cannot keep any wire inside the sea and all, because there are animals like fish which will try to cut the wires. Okay, and when you are from Kanyakumari district, you know we have two oceans, one is Bay of Bengal and one is Arabian Sea, and we are on the side of Arabian Sea or Bay of Bengal. So our side, the side nearer to Chennai, the fishes and all is not so arrogant fishes, whereas on the other part of India, that is other side, where you have a fish like which will have like a sword itself. They even have that sword is, that is their tail is like a sword. That sword is even capable of cutting human into two pieces. So I cannot put any wire system and all, then that will be disconnected. Or so what we do is we do wireless communication. So from underneath there is a wireless communication to this base station, and from the base station it is being sent via satellite, and the satellite is being sent to the place where you have a center. So we will detect. So this is deep dart, DART is deep ocean assessment and reporting of tsunami. So that is what we call it as dart. Okay, so this is the setup there. Then comes cyclone. Cyclones, now all the cyclones are we are get prepared, because but your small ponds or lakes which create problem is not our headache. we try to say what will be the rainfall level. So that is what the cyclone can be done. The early detection of TCS would be differentially in many areas. The early notice would give the public more time to prepare for potential future threat. See, cyclone will not be on a single day. It will start on the ocean. It may take even 2 to 3 weeks. So you can get prepared. Okay. So early detection allow scientists more time to plan research mission into storms. In research application, it allows the study of determining what promotes tropically cyclogenesis. The detection algorithm described here in based on the wheeling motion of the fluid. So this we call it as how it is going to move. See, always we predict, we say it will come to Chennai, but it will go to Orissa and damage. So that is all depends upon the, that is what they say, this how the wheeling motion of the fluid is going to take place. Then there is one more meter called scatter meter, unique among satellite remote sensor in their ability to determine surface wind speed and direction. This is done by from the satellite. Okay, so from satellite they are going to do this. Microwaves, they send microwaves and try to see how this microwaves is being disturbed by the surface wind speed and all. So backwater cross section is the function of wind speed and wind direction relative to orientation of scatterometers. Scatterometers actually determine the equivalent neutral wind speed at a height of 10 meters above the local mean water surface, which differs from wind speed that would measured by anemometer after adjustment at a height of 100 meters. So this we are able to measure. So this is how the structure is. So from satellite we are measuring. So from satellite we are measuring at this particular portion. So from with one satellite which is available, I can measure around 200 kilometers length and 500 kilometers width with an angle of 45 degree. So that region, entire region will be noted and will be sent to your receiving station. From the receiving station I will try to get the information and I will try to conclude. So this is how we plot the graph. I think nowadays we all might have seen this. So this is very high intensity area, then this intensity is reducing, then this is very mild, and then white, which means there you don't have any wind speed. So cyclone, this region you have more wind speed compared to all other region. So that is, cyclone is always with respect to only wind speed. So there is heavy at this portion and all. So this information is being got and it has been given to all. Then there somewhere we can, if it is occurring in ocean or river, we call it a cyclone. Then hurricanes is there as well as typhoons is there, where it crosses the land with the same speed. And sometime it has occurred in India also, but it is very rare. Only cyclone will hit. So these are the various early signs which are there for us to help. So this is